I don't consider what happened 17 years a near-death experience because I was actually dead. I was not breathing. I had no heartbeat. There's a difference. They couldn't get to me right away because my car was so mangled and smashed. Um, Even the state trooper says, I don't know how you're still alive. I think the one that happened 17 years ago was most significant for me because I've grown. I've had many experiences. I've changed a lot since I was a child. I don't have that same easy faith and belief as I did as a child. As children, things are very absolute. We take it for face value, right? And that level of trust, once it has been tainted, it it's really hard to get that kind of faith back. That's why this is so significant to me, because ever since this has happened, I've had some continued interesting things that have followed me, like almost like having some kind of a guardian angel army with me or something, because something had to have happened, because the area that I was sitting in the vehicle, that from that point forward was completely intact. It was everything else from behind. I took the full 70-mile-per-hour impact in my back. It hit so hard that it actually broke the seatbelt. Um, uh, so hard that my right hand broke the gear shift. My face hit the steering wheel so hard that it bent the steering wheel back towards the dash. I mean, that it's unreal that I should even be alive. What I experienced wasn't earthly. There's no way to even equate it to something earthly. I, like I said, in I want to say I was floating, but I wasn't floating. I was stable. All I had to do was think, and I was there. If I had a question of what I was seeing, the answer immediately came to me. I was aware that there was another being with me. This being was just off to my left side. And wherever I went, that being was with me. I want to say it was a male energy. I felt a male energy. Um, I felt this incredible safety, love, compassion. The most significant thing that defines this experience is the moment I became aware that I was existing outside of my body. The only thoughts in my mind was a single thought. There was no more noise. I describe it as noise. We get this noise that goes on in our head because we have our daily tasks, things that we did wrong or things that we didn't do. We've got, our conscious guilting us. We have memories or old tapes from childhood that are always playing. Things trigger those things. Um, Maybe traumatic experiences that we've had that we've kind of stuck behind. Things happen that trigger that. That's noise. We always have noise going on in our head. Um, Even when we think we're thinking pretty clearly. That's nothing compared to the clarity of thought, the single-minded thought. The focus was more intense than anything that I've ever experienced in this body. There was no more worry. There was no stress. There was no concern about anything that I left behind. There was this absolute tranquility and peacefulness. And I want to say it was like pure logic, but it wasn't just that, because I could feel love. I could experience that joy. You have to be able to feel something to experience that. So it's not pure logic. It's just all the good stuff without all the bad crap. It didn't follow for a while. I don't even know how long it was, because it seemed like forever that I was just kind of floating there and looking at everything around, because I was in the midst of our solar system. I could feel, I could turn and see the sun, I could see the moon, I could see other planets in the distance. I could I could see, I knew that the earth was behind me. And I knew that what I was looking out at was space. But then what I saw was this ribbon of densely packed light, and they were all twinkling in different colors, but they were bright lights. It wasn't planets. It wasn't a solar system or a asteroid belt or anything. I looked at that and I said, huh, what's that? And immediately the answer came into my mind. They're just like you. And that's that aha moment. I know what I am now. I am my spirit. This is me. This is the purity of me. Without the physical form, this is who I am, who I was before I took that physical form. And the joy that came from it was immense. And uh, all I could do was just take in that immense feeling. And it just, I want to say it was like being in awe, but that doesn't even come close to describing the feeling. It was just amazing. It was beautiful. It was safe. It was home. I'm not afraid of what comes after this life anymore. I don't question it. I became aware that somebody was doing something to my body. I could feel. I heard. It was like in the distance. It was like at the end of a very, very long tunnel. I could hear somebody yelling. I remember first looking over, or turning my attention to this other being that was with me. And it wasn't, like I said, there was no talking. I was like, what's that? And he was like, do you want to see? And I remember turning my attention to the sound, and then it got louder, and all of a sudden it felt like I was being sucked down into a funnel. That's the best I can describe it. Like I was just and it was like everything around me just folded in. And there was, I think at the moment where I was back in my body, it was like an explosion of light in my brain. I remember gasping for air, and it was just all blood. There was face, my face was covered in it. And the nurse that revived me happened to be in the car that stopped to see if anyone needed help. She happened to be a nurse at the hospital that was just around the corner that I ended up being taken to. I got to talk to her after I was released from the hospital, and she said, when we got there, it looked like somebody had already got out of the car. I just checked the car just to be sure, and she said, you were strewn across the console, your legs were pinned, and there was blood everywhere. She said you weren't breathing. I couldn't get to you to do CPR. I said, how did you revive me then? She said, all I could do was reach the bottom of your pant leg through underneath the seat. I could get the door open just enough to reach my arm underneath the seat to grab your pant leg because your legs were underneath the seat. She said, I just started yanking on your pant leg at the same rate that I would have done CPR. Is the only thing I could think of doing. And I was like, well, obviously that was enough. She said, sometimes just jerking the body is enough to get somebody breathing again, especially if they haven't been not breathing for very long. But like I said, it looked like everything from my body forward was perfectly intact. Even the state trooper said, the forensics said it was very odd that the car stopped crunching at that point. That usually they see, a person be crushed between the seat and the dashboard, especially at that high of a speed and no brakes being used. It really felt like there was possibly some otherworldly force that was stopping that impact from taking my life all the way. I think part of the compensation for coming back to this hellhole was I was given some extra gifts that are have proven to be very perceptive and have proven to allow me to help other people in ways that I could not have if I had not been able to see the things that I can see. There is no pain. There is absolutely no pain, physically or emotionally. Whatever pain you are experiencing in this life, whether it's resolved or not before you pass away, you will no longer experience the pain. You will still have the memory of it, but the pain of it, the sting, is gone. It's nothing to fear. It's nothing to worry about because everything is okay. Once you get there, there's no worry. There's no pain. There's no fear. There's no strife. It's just peaceful clarity. So take care of today. Take care of what's going wrong in your life. Don't be afraid to be the first one to say you're sorry. And do whatever it takes. Make sure that your family and your friends know how much, how deeply you love them. Because that's the legacy that you will leave behind. That's how you will be remembered. That's what matters here